In this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 largemouth baits for springtime here on Lake St Clair.
One of the best to ever do it.
Welcome to the channel, everybody. If you're new here, be sure to click down below, hit that red subscribe button, ding that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And this way you don't miss out on the tips, the product reviews, the fishing reports that I give you, my viewers, here on the channel. So let's dive into my top 5 favorite spring largemouth baits for Lake St Clair. So the #1 favorite lure of mine to throw here on Lake St Clair for largemouth bass is gotta be the ChatterBait. This one here has definitely seen better days. This is the 3rd or 4th one that I burned through last spring. I literally am wearing these out, catching largemouth out here on the main lake here on Lake St Clair. A lot of times I'll run these with a very basic trailer, either a Fluke or a boot tail or a paddle tail like high-tech or a sniper shad style trailer, or maybe even on a 5-inch CLEMENS out the back of it. You know, I generally just run something fairly subdued on the back of it. One trailer that I am trying this year is these scrubs from CLEMENS. Just trying them out. We'll see how they do. I generally fish 2 colors. This is the Sexy Shad, and this is a bluegill pattern, I believe, from them. But as you can see in my box here, you got Sexy Shad, Chartreuse and White, Chartreuse and Lime Green, Straight Chartreuse, Green Pumpkin. Got your Black and Blue, which is more of a, I think this is more of Boogie Craw than a Black and Blue. Got your Reds, which I have not thrown yet. I need to throw that this year and try it out. But that's my ChatterBait box. I mean, that's pretty much all I need to catch largemouth anywhere here in Michigan on a ChatterBait. But day in, day out, I'm throwing that Chartreuse Sexy Shad with the gold most of the time out here on Lake St Clair in a ChatterBait. #2 on my list is the Breadandbutter Jig. You know, your skirted, your weedless jig. Pretty much all I carry in my box is I got a green pumpkin or a brown, a black and blue, and this is actually a D&L flipping jig. It's got a little flash in it. Really, really cool jig. I generally fish these fairly light. I usually don't go over a 3/8 of an ounce, but most time it's a 1/4 and a 3/16. I'll put a Poor Boy's darter, a crawl trailer of some sort on there. Just really simple, just to slow that fall rate down even more. And this is what I use a lot of times, flipping around the dock pilings when those fish are holding really, really tight and they're not wanting to chase. This can be an absolute dynamite lure out here on Lake St Clair. My #3 favorite largemouth bait here for Lake St Clair kind of follows suit with the jig, but a little less going on. I just like to take a shaky head. This is an owner shaky head, and I like to put a creature bait on it. Either the Zoom's Z Craw, any of the angler choice crawl baits, the Chigger Craw, the Boogie Craw work really well on it. This here is a Guggen bait bandito bug that I'm looking forward to trying for the first time. Pick some up over the winter. Haven't fished them yet. They say to smell them. Smells good. Doesn't really smell like a fishing lure. Actually smells like some type of candy a little bit, like a licorice type of thing. So it definitely has some anise in it. But really simple. I pitch this to the docks, the rock piles that I like to fish in that shallower water. You know, those areas that are bassy but are not your smallmouth areas per se. This can be really, really deadly on them. So #4 on my top 5 list of must-have tied-on baits. Similar to on the smallmouth one, I talked about this one, and that is a square bill. This is a 6 cents. Really looking forward to trying particularly this color out here on St. Clair. I gotta thank my fellow YouTuber Benjamin Novak for turning me on to these. I am very excited to try them. As you know, I'm a big Duo Realis fan. I throw a lot of Rapala baits, and I'm excited to throw the 6 cents into the mix this year. But square bills are absolutely awesome. I like to work these along rip rafts, long points that come out from the main lake, along break walls like Beacon's Cove, the face of that, McInray's, the face of that. When these fish like to push up shallow and they're chasing the shad and the shiners that are feeding on the algae that's up on the break wall, or they're just trying to get up there to get a little bit warmer. Those areas tend to radiate a little more heat. They kind of gravitate towards them, and it's a little bit of a darker bottom than that sandy bottom that we have out here on Lake St. Clair. But number 4 on my list is a square bill. Number 5 on my top 5 baits for largemouth here on Lake St. Clair for the springtime is probably one of my favorite baits to fish from now all the way into post spawn, and that is a fluke. Now I carry 3 different sizes of flukes in the boat, and one of them is the Magnum. It is, I believe, 7 inches long, and I go ahead and add a little squirt of some Angler's Choice scent to it. That scent, I think, just adds a little more to the bait, especially when they come up and just kind of grab the tail and they don't quite have the hook. It gives them that little extra that they can go and get the rest of it in their mouth. The 2 that I fish the most, though, this is a little more later in the year when I'm trophy hunting or even for pike, is the full-size standard Super Fluke. You really cannot beat a bubblegum zoom. If you're watching this video, please make the junior in a bubblegum. Please, 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 please. So I don't have to freaking make my own mold and do it myself. But a lot of whites, albino, bubblegum. I fish all 3 of those colors a lot. And then there's the junior. Let me grab one of each to show you guys the difference in the size between all of these. So this is a 7-inch. This is the standard 5-inch, and then that is the junior. So you can see there's a very big difference in the sizes that I throw. These are primarily the 2 sizes I throw the most. Where if occasionally throwing this when I'm on bigger fish, or if I'm really just trying to sucker that big female that I'm seeing but I can't get her to bite anything, and I've tried standard stuff, I tried small stuff, go to the big dog and see if I can get that to bite. Super Flukes are by far one of my favorite baits for largemouth. And also, if you're a river smallmouth guy, give this one and this one a try. When I'm talking rivers, I'm talking small rivers like the Huron River, the Grand, the Raisin, all these small, wadeable rivers. The Fluke can be one of your best baits year-round for those small rivers smallmouth. So in all my top 5 videos, I like to leave you with a bonus lure to try as well. And well, this next one should not be a surprise to you one bit. It is one of the best fish catching baits of the last few years, and it's the Ned Rig. It works on everything. Honestly, it's probably one of my top 5 favorite baits to throw year-round. The Midwest rig, the Ned rig, whatever you want to call it, it is absolutely deadly on largemouth, smallmouth, rock bass, white bass, trout, catfish. I mean, you can catch literally everything on it. I would put it probably right underneath the jig head and grub in versatility, but if you haven't tried the Ned rig for largemouth, go ahead and give it a try this spring. You might be pleasantly surprised at everything that you will catch on it. So that's going to do it for my top 5 largemouth baits here for Lake St. Clair. Be sure to let me know down in the comments what your top 5 is. And as always, be sure you click down below, hit that red subscribe button, ding that notification bell if you're not already subscribed. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, folks, tight lines, happy casting, and we'll see you on the next video.
If you decide to drop your buckets where you are and develop your gifts, I grant you, you'll never ever be without. I grant you that your gifts will take you places that will literally amaze you.